Diarrhea is going to happen to every single dog and cat at some point in their life. Maybe it's happening right now. And here's the thing, even for myself as a veterinarian with my own pets, it seems to always happen on the weekends, at night, during holidays, when your veterinarian's not open. And when you go to the ER, it can be really, really expensive. However, there's a lot of natural ways that you can support your pets to help them through that episode of diarrhea, to get them back on track, and also to make sure that you know when you should go see your veterinarian to keep your pet safe, which is always most important. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the top techniques I use with my own clients to help their pets get through diarrhea, so that way you can stay out of the ER and get their gut health back on track. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, holistic veterinarian and founder of The Natural Pet Doctor. And this is what I love helping amazing pet parents like yourselves do. Get your pet's gut health back on track, because a lot of times the root issue that we're seeing, the symptom like diarrhea, vomiting, allergies, itchiness, comes down to your pet's gut health problem. But when you're in that emergency situation, or when your dog's going in and out and having that diarrhea, or your cat's not feeling good, I want to make sure that you have some tips and some tools. So make sure you like and subscribe so that you can get more of our free content on how to optimize your pet's gut health. And if you need some support, send a message or even drop a help comment in the comments below so I can give you more of our resources that we have and how we support and help amazing pet parents like yourselves. I hope you find this video helpful. This is a short clip from our Better Gut Health program. And let's talk about first aid support, because these things take time. As we're assessing where things are coming from, as we were removing inflammatory concerns and problems, we need to be able to support our pets. So here's a few tips to help get you sorted and to help guide you as you are implementing these. So when is a veterinary visit needed? There is a time and a place that we do need to go to the vet. And if in doubt, you're worried, you're stressed, call your vet or seek emergency care if it's after hours. There's never a wrong time to call the vet and to go to the vet. Peace of mind is very important. And if you are worried, I don't want you to wait or feel like you're being judged. It's important that your pet is seen. Also, vomiting, diarrhea, severe, if it's persisting for more than 24 hours, despite implementing some of these supportive measures we're going to talk about, please go to the vet. If they're not behaving normally, they're acting really sluggish, lethargic, if they're hiding from you, they're just not acting right, we need you to go to the vet. Diarrhea continues for more than 3 days, we probably should go to the vet. And once again, we'll talk about some of the testing that you can have them do. If stool's just leaking out of your pet, where it's just constant pouring out, they can get dehydrated, there can be electrolyte imbalances, it's important to be seen. There's a lot of blood, or if the pet's only pooping blood or lots and lots of mucus, these are things that we need to go to the vet for. If they're really uncomfortable, they're showing signs of bloat or retching, that's unproductive, especially for dogs. This can be a sign of a GDV, can be a sign of bloat. You do not have time on your side if that is occurring, and you need to go in. So when I say retching, that's not productive. They're trying to vomit. They might bring up some mucus, but they're not bringing up any food, and they continue to do it. You can't always see a bloated, distended stomach or abdomen, especially if they're a large breed with a deep chest. This is why you need to take them in. When you call them, make sure that you state that's what's occurring, because that is a true emergency and you need to get them in as soon as possible. So those are a couple things to follow to make sure that we're not waiting, we're not dragging this out, we're not creating potential harm for our pets. Now, first things first, this is for GI upset, and there's going to be ups and downs. I warned this at the beginning. It's not like all of a sudden magic happens first day, first week, especially when we've had chronic health problems. For a lot of pets here, it's been years and years and years. And so there will be some flare-ups. The goal is to go longer between flare-ups. with less severity. So they recover faster. They still feel good, even though maybe there is some diarrhea or a little bit of GI upset. Now, when this happens, it's always good to fast them for 12 to 24 hours to rest that GI tract. Now, I want you to use things like broth is really helpful. And what you can do is you can freeze it in an ice cube tray and you can offer that. So if you have a dog that's antsy, that they're not getting fed, because some dogs are just, they're your clocks. They expect it even if they're having a GI issue or flare up. You can give them frozen broth cubes in their bowl and they're like, oh, okay, they're giving me something. So it's like they're getting fed, but not really. The next thing I want you to do is use novel. So if we can, this would be a protein source that they've never had. That if not, that's okay. We want to use more of a bland, kind of a lighter colored meat. Your red meats can be a bit harder to digest, especially when we have GI upset. So common choices would be things like whitefish, cod can be a really good one. You could use also a turkey. You want to lightly cook it, remove any excess fat. So something easy to digest, and then a simple starch. I don't tend to go for rice because especially if we have an overgrowth of yeast, that can make it worse. Also, rice can be higher in arsenic. I tend to see that on hair tissue mineral tests. So butternut squash is a great one. You could also use pumpkin if you know they've done well in the past, if you have sweet potato on hand. So you just want to cook those to make it as easy to digest. You're going to add that in after the fast, and you're going to do small amounts, working up to full meals. So this is where, yes, you're probably going to be asking, well, how much do I feed for my dog? Start with small amounts. We're resting the gut, and then you're going to work back up to the normal diet or transitioning over to some of the food therapy recipes that we're going to be talking about next week. The other things that you can use that are really helpful, especially if you have cats with GI upset, are adding in things like Saccharomyces plus MOS. MOS is a prebiotic. They are known, and there's lots of research behind them, to actually help with diarrhea and vitamin B12. So if you have a pet that does not want to eat, their appetite is down, B12 is amazing. And so adding in a B12 vitamin, there's a lot of great brands. RX Vitamins is a good one. There's a lot of good brands out there. If you're concerned with brands, just post in the community. But using a liquid vitamin B12 can also help with that GI upset, and it has a natural appetite stimulant property to it to help get them back to where they were. Now, the other thing is I don't know who here has heard of congees. Raise your hand if you've heard of congees. I love congees. We've actually made congees in our household. So this is like a Chinese rice pudding, essentially. So this is following food therapy principles. It's a staple in Chinese food therapy. And it's commonly made with rice. So I know I just said like rice. Okay, what we're doing here, you can use other grains if you want to. So millet, you can also use oats if you prefer. We used organic oats, but you can also, so what you want to do is you can make it with bone broth or water if that's all you have. And you're essentially cooking it, slow cooking it for a really long time. And what it does is it's very easy to digest. It's very soothing. It provides a lot of nutrients for a sick pet. Dogs tend to prefer this, but you could try it with your cats also. And essentially when the congee is done cooking, so you're going to cook it for 1.5 hours. We've cooked it for essentially the entire day in our slow cooker on low setting. And you can add in things like sardines. You can add in like an egg like this picture for extra protein and omega-3s. You can add in goji berries, can be helpful for antioxidants. You can add in some mushrooms for immune support. So reishi, your chaga mushrooms. You can add in blueberries, a little bit of leafy greens. If your pet's having digestion issues, keep it bland, keep it simple. Don't add in too many fats or too many ingredients. But the way that this is cooked is very healing and nourishing for spleen or digestion. So I wanted to give you that recipe so you had that, because you can use it for yourself too. If you're having GI issues or your gut's off, you get food poisoning, this is a really helpful way to reintroduce food back into your gut. And then your cats. So don't worry, I didn't leave out cats. So this is actually a bland, balanced diet for cats. So it gives you about 130 grams of food daily divided into 2 meals. You can use whatever protein your cat prefers, or if you prefer to try like a novel protein, like bland diet. So say we have GI issues and you want to try a new diet, this is where you can use something like rabbit if they've never had it. You could use duck. This also has a mackerel or a sardine canned in water. So you could use those, or you can use a fresh one, or you could substitute with fish oil. If they don't tolerate your fish or white fish, you can use an algae oil. That would be a good substitute. And then we're adding in a little bit of carbohydrates. I know cats are obligate carnivores. This is to feed the microbiome, to provide a little bit of fiber to help soothe them. So this is based on food therapy principles. And then we've actually balanced it with eggshell powder, a little bit of apple cider vinegar just to help with digestion, kelp spirulina, a small pinch of the powder, cardamom, ginger, chamomile. These are really good for digestion, nausea, reducing gas, reducing inflammation. You can use flax meal, a little bit of chia, coconut, a little bit of coconut oil. These are really small amounts. When you are making your own diets at home, I always recommend getting a food scale. And this is all cooked together on a low heat. If you have a pet that has severe GI issues and they're not doing well with a raw food diet, I always recommend lightly cooking it because it'll help bring up the heat. And a lot of these pets that have diarrhea have cold diarrhea, or they don't respond to the cooling energetics of the raw diet. So this is why cooking it can help. It helps process it a little bit. There's less pressure on the digestion, and it's also increasing the heat in the food. So it's helping with that cold diarrhea that we'll talk about with those types with food therapy next week. This can also be used long-term if needed. So you could add your digestive enzymes and your slippery elm to it to help soothe and calm down the inflammation. Those would be added after you do that slow cook. Remove skin and fat prior to cooking also, because we want to keep this lower fat. And then of course, slippery elm. This can be magic for so many pets. If your pet is sensitive to slippery elm, this is where we can substitute with something like marshmallow root, which has very similar mucilaginous properties to help calm down gut inflammation, but it also acts as a prebiotic to feed the good bacteria. So this is a great recipe to have on hand. You can also put the probiotics, so that Saccharomyces boulardii, directly in this and then give to your dogs and your cats. Thanks so much for watching that short clip from our Better Gut Health program, showcasing how you can provide first aid support to your dogs and cats using fresh food options, using some nutraceuticals, and supporting them and making sure you know when to go to the vet, when things are possibly a little bit worrisome, they're not looking good, they're not improving. If you need more help and guidance, make sure to get our simple guide to improving your pet's food. There's a link down below for you to take advantage of that and make sure that you're feeding the best food possible to really nourish and support your pet's gut health. If you need more guidance and support from myself, a holistic veterinarian, we have an amazing Healthy Holistic Pet for Life Blueprint program where I support pet parents like yourselves through our lifetime program to show you where those root imbalances are, to make sure that you get back on track with your dogs, with your cats, so that they can achieve optimal health, stay out of the vet clinic, and give you peace of mind. So if you need more information, we also have a link down in the description below. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.